Hey guys, it's Lisa back with another video for you for Lisa Wise Designs, and today we're doing part 2 on our fall crate. So if you're joining us late in this process, you can look below in the descriptions and see where you can pick up the kit to make this crate along with the mini album that goes inside. Or if you want to use your own product that you already have in your stash, you can pick up the tutorial only. So let's get back started on this crate. Yesterday, this is where we left off in the process. We need to put pattern paper on the outside of our slats. And we also need to put pattern paper here, and then we need to do our handles and our decorations. So let's get started with that. We had already cut out our pieces. So what we need to do is what we did yesterday. We need to add those little scrap pieces of chipboard in here to make this a little flatter to put our matting. So I did the same thing I did on the other side. I've got a 1/2 inch by 3 inches, and then I cut another one 1/2 inch by 3 inches and just cut that in half. So they're 1.5 inches. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put one near the top, right there, you can see. I'm going to do the same thing on the inside near the bottom, and then I'm going to put the long strip in the middle. So it's basically the same process that we did, like I said, yesterday, but the only difference is this one's a little bit more difficult because you got to get your hand inside the crate. But since the crate's about 3 inches opening, it's not impossible. Just a little bit of maneuvering. So there we go. So now you can see I've got 1, 2, and then down in the bottom. So what we're going to do is the same thing we did yesterday. I'm just going to put glue on those pieces of chipboard that stick out. But let me make sure my mat, yeah, I've already got it trimmed to the right size. I'm going to make sure it fits in there correctly, that all looks good before I put all my glue on there. Okay, always good to test it and do a dry run just to make sure. Okay, put my glue. So you can see there where I've got glue on all those chipboard pieces that stand out. I'm just going to put my mat down right there in the center. And it kind of gives the illusion that it's foam taped, right? But actually it's chipboard. And it won't take long for this art glitter glue to hold that in place. So this is so cute so far. I just love this little crate. I can't wait to fill it up with these little mini albums. And I think I was saying yesterday that you could make up to 5 of these mini albums to fit in this crate. At least 4, but probably 5. And what I'm going to do is, since we already cut these down, I'm just going to center them to the space. I'm going to put dots on the top and the bottom one, and I'm going to put a pumpkin one in the center. And if you pick up the Christmas crate, either the tutorial or the kit, you're going to get a cutting guide that makes a different mini album style that will also fit in the crate. So then you'll have 2 types of mini albums that both fit in both crates, the Christmas and the this fall one. So that'll be fun. You could do different pattern papers, and so when it's on your shelf, you can actually display it with the fall one in the front so it all looks cohesive, but behind it you could have all kind of different versions. And tomorrow, as we go through the mini album process, I'll show you what it looks like with using the 4x6 cards to hold the spot for your photos, especially if you're going to give it as a gift and want to tell the recipient where to put the photos. And I'm also going to show it to you with photos in it to kind of give you an idea. And I put 13 photos in it. Some were full 4x6s. Maybe cut down 1/4 inch to get it in there. And then some, you know, are 2.5 by 2.5. They're all different sizes. Some of them are on tags. Some of them are just on the flaps, but I got 13 pictures on there, good size photos. So I thought that was really good for a really small mini album to fit in this crate. Looks really cute so far. So cute. So now's the time to decide which one you want to be front. So if you like this pattern paper strip you cut, or maybe this one, whichever one you like more to be the front of your crate, go ahead and decide that now. And then we are going to do the handles and the decoration. So let's do those handles first. And we'll see what page we're on in our cutting guide. I think we're going to be on page 8. What we're going to need now is we're going to need a strong hole punch, and I recommend the We Are Memory Keepers because it's got 2 different size hole punches and a way to set eyelets. So I use this a lot, and I'll use all these pieces in this project. You need a pencil and a ruler. So what you're going to do is come down 1/2 inch from the top. And I'm going to make a horizontal line just so that I know what 1/2 inch is. And then I'm going to put my ruler on that 1/2 inch line. And I'm going to come over 1 inch and 2 inches. And that's going to be where I'm going to put my holes. Let me see. I've got that right on the truck. It's kind of hard to see there. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. I'm going to come down 1/2 inch, make a horizontal line, then I can put my ruler on that. And then I can come over 1 inch and make a mark. Oh, let me get to the right spot here. And then come over to the 2 inch and make a mark. So now, there you go, you can see. So then I've got 2 places, 1/2 inch down, and then 1 inch from the side, 2 inches from this side, so 1 inch from each side. Okay, so I'm going to use, which side? The 3/16 inch side, which is the bigger side here. And if you have one of these, you can see your inches right there. This is the 1/8, this is the 3/16, but it's the bigger one. So I'm gonna put that right on the mark and just pull the trigger. So it's pretty easy. It doesn't use a whole lot of hand strength, but you may be going through a couple of layers of cardstock, depending on where you put that that piece in the center. So I'm just gonna push that out so that I can see through the hole again. And pull again. Okay. So you can use a different hole punch, but since you're going through chipboard, you're gonna need something that you don't break easily, because I've tried to do this with a regular office hole punch, and yeah, it didn't work very well. Did not go well at all. I think the chipboard won for sure. Here we go. If you get off a little bit, I would not stress out about it. This is a country crate, and no one's ever going to notice. We're still on, let's see, yeah, the middle of page 8. We're going to get our twine out. So you should have a plastic bag full of twine like this. You should have plenty to do both these two different steps, what I'm trying to think of. You're gonna need, coming down here, about 10 inches. So I'm gonna double that over, okay. Here, so I need a 10 inch, 2 10-inch pieces, and then I'll hang on to the rest. We're gonna come to that in just a second. So what you're going to do is you're going to work from the outside of the crate in, push that through. If you have a hard time getting it to go through, there's lots of different things on the market you can use to help you thread through. One of them's called this bead. What's it called? I got this from May May Made It. It's a easy beater where you can just push this through, put it in and pull it. So you can do thicker items. Most of the ones I've seen on the market only does, the smaller type things, like just general string or threads. And so once I pulled it through, I just tied a single, very simple knot around my finger toward the end. So I use up most of that 10" and then pull it back through just like that. Very simple knot, very country, very simple. Just like that, just like so. Isn't that cute? Very cute. So let's go to this side. I'm just twisting the ends to get it back together. You can wet it down if you need to, or use one of those threaders and just pull it through from the outside to the inside, both sides. And like I say, just pull it all the way through and just use your finger or a pencil or whatever you're comfortable with to make a simple knot and pull through. And that 10 inches should give you plenty of room for your handle. Very cute, very easy, natural twine. And then I'm just going to trim off any excess. Adorable. Look how easy that was. And so, of course, this will loosen up and flatten out as it hangs there. Let me get this out of the way. So, look, we're almost done. Now all we have to do is do the decorations on the front. So what I did is I used the stickers that say fall, and I matted them, and then I punched holes in them, and then I hung them like a banner on the front of the crate. So let's do that together. Let me push this off to the side. You're going to need a piece of leftover cardstock from cutting out your mini album. So if you haven't cut your mini album out, so just wait for this step until you do that, because this is all the little pieces I had left from cutting out my album. And you're going to use most of these pieces up, so don't throw them away. And I'm going to cut a strip 1.5 inches wide. Okay, 1.5 inches. This strip just happens to be about 6 inches long. And what we're going to do is we're going to mat our banner pieces. So grab your stickers. We're going to look down here for these fall stickers, and we're just going to mat those. So what I like to do is I don't put any extra ink on my ink blending tool. I just use what's already on there, and then I'm just going to center this on this 1.5 inch strip as best I can on 3 sides. And I'm just going to do that for all the letters. Okay, got my A. And then when we get done, we'll just do a simple trim out. I'm not going to do anything fancy. This is a very good project for beginners because you don't have to be too exacting. You can be as exacting as you want to be. Like, I love numbers, and you can see I go to my 7/8, 7/8, and those type things. Some people don't. They just round off and do, 3/4 of an inch, which is also fine when you're doing any type of matting or something like this. It does not have to be stressful. It does not have to be perfect. So once you get that done, what I'm going to do is I'm going to trim, just going to eyeball it, and I'm going to trim up the sides, and I'm going to trim right down the center between the letters. And of course you can do this with your straight edge trimmer to get something exact. But like I say, this is very country looking, and I'm not that stressed about it being exact. And there are times when I do want to be exact, but this I think is okay to be very country looking. So I'm just going to eyeball and come up from the sides and mat those banner pieces. I'm just basically cutting out a triangle out of the bottom to get rid of some of that excess cardstock and keep that banner shape, but I am not being exact. Believe me, you will see times where I am being too exact and too fiddly, but this is not one of them. So I'm going to keep this little piece in case I need it later. All this off. Then I may need some more ink now. I'm going to hit the edges with my ink. And then the next step will be, we're going to use that We Are Memory Keepers punch again, but on the smallest side. And we're going to punch 2 holes in the tops of these pieces. And then we're going to run the twine through it and tie it on the top piece or top slat of our crate. And we will have done really good today on our timing. Some days are better than others. Some days I can be really productive quickly, and some days it takes me, 20 minutes just to mat something. Okay, so now I'm going to start with my letters. I'm going to use the smallest setting, which, let's see, what is that? It's the 1/8, and I'm just going to eyeball it very close to the top of the letters on each side, the right and the left. Just like that. See if you can see. Yeah, you can see that good. Going to do that. You can use any type of hole punch on this. You don't need a lot of power for it, but you do need a smaller hole. You don't want it to be too big. Get that out of there so I can see where I'm punching. And I want to know if anybody else has ever pinched their hand using one of these, because I did that last weekend, and buddy, it hurt. Oh my goodness, I got a big bruise on my pinky. It's crazy. If anybody can hurt themselves crafting, it is me. Okay. Clean up into the garbage. And here we go. Put it back into the fall. All right, so now you get what's left of your twine. And then remember which side you want it to be the front, which for me this. I'm going to go on this top slat on the, let's see, I think it makes more sense to put these on first. Let's do that. It's been a while since I did this project, so just bear with me. So what you're going to do on your twine, we need to make this like a shoelace. So you have some Scotch tape. Any type of tape will really do. And I'm just going to put it on here really tight and make it like it's a shoelace. And I know there's a word for whatever this little plastic piece is on a shoelace, because I saw it on Facebook not too long ago, because who knew? Who knew there was an actual name for it? But I don't know. It just reminds me of when I was in kindergarten. We used to lace up things. And I'm sure they were trying to teach us something. Eye-hand coordination, motor skills, I'm not sure. But I do remember I liked it and I was good at it, and I always thought it was fun. So what I'm doing is I'm starting with the last letter, the letter L. And I started on the right side on the back. So I'll show you. I'll start with the next L. And then I go to my next letter, the next L. And on the right hand side in the back, I'm going to come up through the back, go down for the right hand side in the front. Just try to go easy. I don't want to put a hole in this. Just ease up, Lisa. All right. And this is natural twine, so there are imperfections, and you can see it's got some rough spots in it, so just be careful. So there's my 2 L's. Now I'm going to go with my A. I wonder if anybody else remembers what I'm talking about the lacing. It used to be like a gingerbread man or snowman or something you would lace up, and then in the same thing you could do zippers and all kind of stuff. I used to think that was really cool. All right, so now I've got my letters on. I'm going to kind of pull them down, give myself a little more room, because I'm going to tie it on the left side first onto the crate to like a knot. And I need enough room to do that. Okay, so let's see. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.5 inches or so. I'm going to thread through here. That may not be enough to be able to tie it in a knot. No, I need more room than that with my big fingers. So I would not trim up your twine until you're done with this step, even though it may be a pain to deal with all this extra twine, because it's kind of hard to add twine back, right? It's like cutting hair. Once you've taken it off, you can't get it back. So near the F, on that side of it, I'm tying it to the top left of the crate. I'm just going to tie a simple knot, just like if I was tying a shoelace. Maybe. Come on. that tight, and I can come back and trim that off once I know that that's good. So there you go, just a simple knot here on the end. You can see that here on the top here. And now I can kind of see where I want my letters to land. So I'm just going to fuss with them a little bit and see, because we're going to get out those clothespins in a minute, and I'm going to leave some slack between the letters. I think that's a little too much slack. And I'll show you the example again. So what we're going to do is we're going to put a clothespin here, and then in between the letters, and then one toward the end. So I think I gave you 7 clothespins, and you're going to need 5 at least. But I tell you, these clothespins can be pretty hard to wrangle. So, and if they ever come apart, it is a pain to try to ever get them back together. So I gave you plenty of extras. So now what I'm going to do, when I kind of know what my spacing is going to be on my fall like this, I'm going to tie the right hand side, and then I can come back and adjust my spacing as needed while I've got all this extra twine to make it easy to tie. I'm going to tie it loosely first to see if once I use my clothespins, if that kind of looks like I want it to, and that's pretty cool. Not too much space. Okay, and then I'm going to tie another loose knot. Pull that through, and I'm not going to cut that off till I know for sure this is going to work out like I'd like for it to. Cool. Okay, so my little handy dandy thing. What I have done, let me get something white to put them on here. I went through and I used my vintage photo distress ink, and I colored them. You can see this is the original one. You can see how light it is, and the rest of these are darker. I thought this was too stark. You're gonna see this looks brand new, where these kind of look aged. So I just took my distress ink and my dauber, and I just rubbed it all the way around. I got my fingers all brown, but that's okay. So that's what I did. If you had that ink and you're working along with me, that's what I would do. So this first one I'm just going to put right there on the end, and then I'm going to come on the left hand side of the F, put one, and between the A and the L I'm going to put one, and the LL, and then one on the very end. And then you can kind of, it's like making a bow, you can kind of fluff it and move it around however you like to see it. It's supposed to be country, it's not supposed to be perfect, which is a good thing, right? That makes it easy. That gives you the permission to just kind of play around with it and for it to look country. So here's the original one. This is the one we just did. The only thing is my F here is a little low, so I may change where my clip is, because you could actually clip it on to the letter if you want to do that also. But now these are teeny tiny clothespins, so they're going to be a little fiddly, and they're going to tend to jump off if you don't watch it. So okay, I think now I can trim it up and see how that's going to look. Put that, and so then I had this much left over, so you can kind of keep that. You may use that for your album, may not. Okay, so we have gotten through making our crate, and tomorrow when we come back, we will start working on our mini album. And like I said below, if you want any of the instructions to follow along with, or if you'd like the kit, just go over to my Etsy shop, Lisa Wise Designs, and you'll see the link down below. And thank you guys so much for watching today. I hope you've enjoyed it. Hit that like button if you enjoyed it, and subscribe if you haven't already. And if you make one of these, please show us photos. We would love to see it, especially if you make it with different paper. We all love to get inspiration from each other. And that Facebook group's also linked below, Lisa Wise Designs. Thank you guys. See you tomorrow, same time, same place. Bye.